Welcome to www.killthatnoise.com. I'm your boy, the Cameron McMath. I got my man, Joe Son, with me. And today we have the privilege of joining us. First team, all Big Sky, straight from Weber State University, Mr. McKay Murphy. Appreciate you for joining us, man.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on.
All right, how's everything going? How's training?
It's going good. Going a couple times a week, trying to still train as hard as I can. Now I'm just trying to kind of get in shape for camp, a lot of conditioning and stuff, so that's not as fun, but it's going good.
Yes, sir. So OTAs and things have started this week for current players in NFL, and the draft is coming up. Is there any pressure for you coming forward to this weekend, or what's the thought process and the mindset going forward to this weekend?
Man, I was kind of talking to you guys about it before we started. I'm just trying to really just kind of do things the way I've been doing them, just keep going and really try and keep my mind off of this weekend. I've had a couple brothers go through this process, so I kind of know what it's like. I kind of know what the whole weekend's like. I mean, even from the standpoint of just watching my brothers go through it, it still felt like a really long couple days. And so, again, right now I'm just trying to do my thing right now and focus on other things. And once those 3 days come around, then I'll be probably not being able to really get much else done. So just kind of going one day at a time right now.
Now you mentioned your brothers. You have 6 older brothers. Now growing up in a household like that, especially with 2 of them playing in the NFL, what's the competitive nature in a household like that?
Oh man, it is at an all-time high at every moment. I mean, every small. I mean, when we were younger, it wasn't sports as much, but it was video games, Mario Kart on Nintendo 64. Yeah. We'd always it was a nightly competition, and then started getting older, and sports started becoming a thing. So we'd compete against that. I mean, even still, whenever our family gets together, we've had to we play a lot of board games, but we've had to kind of put some on the table that we can't play anymore because they get a little too intense.
Yes, sir.
And so we got to avoid some, but yeah, I mean it's pretty crazy sometimes, but it's a lot of fun too. I mean, obviously wouldn't have it any other way. I feel like that kind of played a big role in who I am and what I do now. So. Definitely. Yeah, it gets pretty hectic sometimes, but overall, it's a lot of fun.
Yes, sir. So Joseph mentioned the brothers and the dad, being that it's 7 boys that your parents had. So that means is a sister somewhere and a mom. Growing up in a household with all these boys, where do they fit in this whole category of competitiveness and all those things?
You saying my sister and my mom?
Yeah.
So my mom is kind of like she kind of plays like the peacekeeper role. If things are getting too heated, then she's always the one. We were on a family vacation in Oregon, and we were playing this game, and it started getting really heated, and so we had all of the wives there, and after the game was done, my mom felt like she needed to text everybody and tell them sorry because it was she felt so bad because we were all screaming at each other. And then unfortunately for my sister, sometimes she falls into the role where she might get ganged up on a little bit. It's never intentional. I promise. If she watches this, I promise it's never intentional. But I think sometimes she feels a little bit picked on, and yeah, I mean everybody gets picked on, so it's all in good fun and all just like we were talking about. We're all competitive, so it's all
right. So now going back to your brothers, Jake and Sean, you mentioned that they both played in the NFL. Being that NFL draft is this Thursday, it's going to be probably the most important day of your life. What advice have they given you now coming into the NFL draft?
Man, I'm trying to think right now because they've given me a lot. They've kind of been a big help throughout this whole process through training, through pro day, and even when I was playing. My brother Jake is always sending me stuff about the team. Like I'll text him when a scout talks to me or whatever, and he's always the first one to look up what they've been doing in the off season, what they need, and he's doing a lot of work right now for me. Not that I'm asking to, but I mean the main thing that they keep telling me is, you know, you never know what's going to happen, whether it's getting drafted, whether it's a free agent deal. You know, you never know what's going to when you're in camp. That's really all you need is you just need to be able to get in camp with the team, and then from there kind of show them what you can do. So right now they're just kind of telling me just to, you know, just be patient, see what happens. And I imagine once I get into camp, then I'll probably start waking up to a couple dozen notifications every morning from them about what to do in camp, what coaches like, what they don't like, and different things like that. But yeah, they've been a huge support throughout this whole thing.
Yes, sir. So being that the draft is coming up and pro days and things have passed, combine has passed, a lot of scouts got you kind of as one of the diamonds in the rough to be found in there. 40 reps or so on the bench, you know, if I can throw that number out there, 4, 8, and the 40 times thing. What was your goal going into pro days and things that you had set to prove that you can do to kind of get that look, that attention?
So initially, I knew, I mean, kind of the thing I've always had going for me is my strength, my bench press. So
40 reps. I was impressive.
Well, so there's I didn't know if you guys had seen that or not. There's a little misinformation about that. So I didn't hit 40 at pro day.
Okay.
2 weeks prior to pro day, while we were while we were practicing during training, I hit 39.
Okay.
So I was hoping to hit 40, and I mean that's the thing that's unfortunate. I know that's kind of talk now. I can't say I can do that many because there weren't any scouts there watching that.
Right.
But so I walked into pro day and I was thinking, you know, I'm going to blow them away with how strong I am with my bench. And we were going and I hit 23 and I felt a muscle in my pec kind of tighten up. And so I was like, you know, maybe I can just push through it. Maybe it's not that bad. And I did one more and I was like, no, I can't do anymore. You know, it's, if I do more, then it's going to make everything else worse. So I was kind of disappointed. I was like, you know what? I really think I was on pace to hit 40. I did 23 without even taking a break. And so I'm hoping that kind of reflected my strength, you know, just being able to do it like that. So I was kind of bummed right after that had happened. And I knew that I'd have to just have a really good day the rest of the day. The fastest 40 I'd ever run during training was a 4.85. But, I mean, that's kind of tough, too, to say because you never know if the lasers are a little different than at times. You never know what you're going to get. But, you know, I'm just glad that I happened to run the fastest 40 I ever ran at pro day. So, yes, I mean, I think I know I can do it again, but I was just kind of – I thought I was going to kill it with my bench, and then it was a big disappointment there. So I think I made up for it with my running, with my 40 and my other times in jumping. I thought, you know, I didn't have any specific goals for those. I knew I just had to do as best as I could after how it started.
Yes, sir.
So being from a small school, Weber State, you guys get overlooked a lot. As Cam said, you're one of the diamonds in the rough. With the measurables that you're talking about, the 4.8, 40, 39 reps that you can, what kind of motivation does it give you that you are being overlooked as one of those small school guys? What drives you to prove the critics wrong?
You know, I don't know. It's it's hard. I've kind of been in this position my kind of the whole time I've been playing football. In high school, I was overlooked a lot because I was smaller for my position. I was about 225 trying to play D tackle. And then I went to University of Utah for my redshirt freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
I think coaches kind of overlooked me there, and that was one of the factors into deciding to transfer. And then Weber State is just kind of it's just kind of been the pattern my whole football career, you know. And so I always have believed that, you know, I have the talent and ability to play at a higher level to compete with guys from bigger schools and different things like that. And so I think that's one of the motivations that I have in wanting to do that, is just prove to everyone else that I can do that. Like I said, I've kind of believed that my whole time playing, but I just wanted to show everyone else that I could do that.
Definitely. Now, we mentioned earlier in the interview about your dad. We know your dad, Dale Murphy, played a professional baseball career, and arguably, you know, could be in the Hall of Fame. You know, who's to say about that piece moving forward? But being that he played and had success in a professional sport, and now that you're going into and your brothers have done it, what's his stance on supporting you in your process and things?
Always been, you know, 100 of whatever of me or my brothers and sister have decided to do. Kind of his advice that he always gives is he, you know, he wants us to do whatever we enjoy doing. Just wants us to have fun with the whole process and in everything we're doing. And so he's always been very supportive. And I mean, that means the world to me to have that support. A lot of people, I think, kind of assume that, you know, none of us played baseball or we all played baseball, but none of us continued to play baseball. And I think some people are like, oh, he's probably, you know, upset that you guys didn't do that. But the truth is, he couldn't have been more supportive of whatever decisions we made and whatever we decided to do.
Right. So being that dad did play baseball, you mentioned, did you guys grew up playing baseball, I'm assuming?
Yeah, so we all grew up playing baseball. I stopped playing after about 8th grade, I think.
Okay. What made you choose football over baseball?
Man, people have asked me that question a lot, and kind of the joke I always say is that, you know, I quit basketball too. Basketball had too much running, and baseball didn't have enough running, and so football was kind of like the happy medium of physical activity for me. But I've also always loved the physicality. I mean, I don't think you're gonna find a football player that doesn't enjoy the physicality and violence. I mean, if they don't, then they're probably in the wrong sport. Right. But I mean, that's always been something I've enjoyed. And I mean, also talking about my family earlier and the competitiveness, it's just I feel like it's so competitive because it's not only is there this team that you're a part of, but playing defensive line where you're competing one-on-one against a guy for a couple hours on a Saturday or a Sunday, whatever it is, then I mean, and then that's like the funnest thing to me, is just to have those moments and just kind of try and do what I can to dominate the other guy.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So coming out of high school, you said you was kind of overlooked and things like that. What was the thought process that led you to initially Utah?
So in high school, I was really only recruited by 3 schools. I was recruited by Utah State, University of Utah, and BYU. And a lot of the schools were, I mean, well, all 3 of them were just giving me preferred walk-ons. And I mean, I don't know what their motivation was. I think a lot of it was probably because my brother Jake, who was coming out, he was a couple years older than me. He was getting offers from all over. And so I think they were kind of trying to play the brother card and try and score both of us with one scholarship. which ended up working. He ended up signing with Utah after his LDS mission, and I went there as a preferred walk-on after. And yeah, I mean, there wasn't they weren't recruiting me super hard because of the status. I wasn't a highly sought after recruit, so there wasn't a lot of relationships formed beforehand. I kind of just went because that's where my brother was going.
Okay, so speaking with your agent, he's mentioned that some teams have shown interest in you switching over to the other side of the ball, tight end, where your brothers have played. I'm a GM, if I'm a scout and stuff like that, and I offer you, I'm going to take a chance on you, but I want you to be a tight end. What do you got to tell me?
Yeah, I'd play whatever position a team wants me to play. I mean, so a team asked me at Pro Day if I had ever done it, and I said no, I've never played tight end. But he told me to go out and record some routes and send them in. So I got with my brother and we went and ran some routes and we're throwing a little bit, and it felt super weird, but you know, again, I'll do whatever it takes. I mean, so there's been that team that said tight end. There's been a couple that have said fullback. So I actually went out the other day and ran some fullback routes. I know some teams have said offensive line, and yeah, I mean, like I said, I'll play any position a team wants me to play. It's I'd kind of be a little bit of a project for them, but you know, sometimes that can help you out a little bit. And yeah, I mean, again, just I'd be willing to play whatever position to keep playing football.
Right.
So let me ask you this. If a team asks you and you switch to tight end, who becomes your tight end coach? Is it your brother Jake, being that he's a former tight end for the Raiders and the Broncos? Does he become your tight end coach?
So you're saying, would he be my coach?
Yes,
or
if you switch.
I mean, yeah, if a team said, I mean, obviously whoever's the tight end coach for that team would be my coach, but yeah, I would probably have some pretty late nights with him over these next couple weeks and just do everything I could to get ready for that. I mean, obviously he knows what's going on. He knows the ins and outs of the whole of everything having to do with the tight end. So yeah, he'd be a huge help. Be awesome to, right? We've never really had a lot to talk about with football or work with each other on because we've always been playing on opposite sides of the ball. But yeah, he'd be the first one I would go to get some help and kind of get ready for camp.
Now, as a part two question to the one I asked before. Now, if I'm a GM, if I'm a scout, coach, owner, I'm willing to take a chance on you. What kind of player am I getting, and who is McKay Murphy? This question is always the one you kind of always like. I'll ask myself in the car, like, and pretend to think of a good answer. But you know, I feel like you're gonna get someone who just the person I always tried to be at Weber State was just the kid who does everything right, on the field and off the field. I wanted to obviously not get in trouble off the field, to get good grades in school, and then on the field, or at least with football, you know, I wanted to make sure that I watched enough film and did everything I possibly could do to set myself up to be the best that I could. And so I think that's you know, that nothing's going to change if I'm playing in the NFL. It's going to be the same thing. You're going to get a guy who, you know, you don't got to worry about me going and partying. I'm married. I have kids. I'm not worried about doing anything like that or anything, you know, getting in trouble. I'm just going to do everything that I can to be the best player that I can and to contribute to the team in being the best team that they can be.
Yes, sir. So before we transition to the next part, give some advice to an athlete or young man or woman who, be it high school, college, who feel like they are overlooked. What kind of advice could you give them moving forward who wants to pursue this or possibly thinking about giving up?
No, the advice I give is just do everything right. Just try and do everything right. And I mean, whether that's in the weight room, whether that's on the field, just control everything you can control, and everything else will fall into place. I mean, you're going to need to – there's the whole saying that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, and I think that's very true. You know, I think there's a lot of people that just kind of get by, especially at the high school level and lower levels, of just, you know, having that natural talent, and that kind of carries them. But then they get into a college atmosphere or maybe in the NFL, and, you know, that you don't have the option to not work hard. So a lot of people fold under that. So if you can just work as hard as you can while you're in high school and playing at a younger age, then that's going to, you know, build the foundation for the rest of your life. And whether that's in athletics or not, you know, it's irrelevant, because you've learned that lesson of how to work and how to go as hard as you can. And I mean, that's all you really need.
All right. So this segment now, we call it rapid fire. We just basically quick questions.
Okay.
We just want to hear your opinion. The most controversial one we have here, basketball. Who's the greatest of all time, LeBron or MJ?
Oh man, I know you said rapid fire. I gotta go with MJ.
MJ, okay.
MJ. Now, you said you grew up playing video games and board games. So with that being said, Xbox or PlayStation?
Oh man, I know you said rapid fire. Yeah.
I'll give it to me how
Here's
you
the
got
problem. I have a PlayStation. I have a PlayStation, but I wish I had an Xbox.
Okay. So what games are you playing on the PlayStation?
Man, shoot. Okay, here's the problem too. I know you said I keep saying you said rapid fire, but I haven't played PlayStation in a long time, mainly because of my schedule lately. But if I were playing now, I'd be playing probably some PUBG, Fortnite, just those games, you know, that everybody's kind of playing right now.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, switching over to music, game day, getting prepared before the game. Give me your top 3 artists or songs that you got playing in your headphone to get you ready.
All right, I'm gonna go artists. My D-line coach made fun of me the other day because I said on a different interview, I let it slip that I always listen to the Beatles before every game. I'd listen to the Beatles. I don't like getting like super amped up and you know, draining myself. I kind of like relaxing a little bit. So I'd go Beatles. I like Post Malone. And if I had to pick a third one right now, it'd probably be Drake.
Right. So another argument is the greatest of all time rapper, artist. You got Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, and Drake. Who you got?
Oh man, do I gotta pick from one of those 3?
Well, give me what you got.
Yeah, give me your grade.
If I gotta pick one of those 3, I'm just going Biggie Smalls, Notorious B.I.G.
Okay.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. So out of the 3 in the best times of their lives, who was the greatest out of the Mikes? Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson, Michael Jordan.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear Mike Tyson. Man, I gotta go Michael Jackson. I'm pretty sure he still has like the highest albums ever sold or something. I don't know if that's true or not. I just threw that out there. But yeah, I gotta go Michael Jackson.
So being that you're a defensive lineman, I'm gonna put you in a tight box. Who you got right now? Aaron Donald, J.J. Watt.
Man, Aaron Donald, 100%. I like J.J. Watt. I like him a lot, but Aaron Donald is just a freak, man. I saw that video of him training with knives the other day, and I mean, once I saw that was like, no one else is ever gonna do that. Because other people will try it and they're gonna end up getting stabbed. But man, I gotta go Aaron Donald.
I read somewhere that you kind of compared your versatility to J.J. Watt. Is that true?
Yeah, well, I don't compare myself to him, but I always tried to model myself after. I mean, both of them. They're I think that's what makes them both so good is they play every position on the D line. You know, they're both so versatile, and so that's what I tried to model myself after was being able to do anything on the defensive line. And I guess we'll find out here soon if I did a good enough job. I didn't compare myself to him. J.J. Watt is obviously J.J. Watt. They're both freaks, but I mean, yeah, I think if there's D linemen you want to watch and model your game after, you can't go wrong with either of those guys.
Being that Dad was a catcher, you playing baseball, Dad playing baseball. Who's your GOAT as a catcher besides Dad? I know Dad has to be the one, but give me Pudge, Buster Posey, or Yadier.
Man, Pudge.
Pudge, okay.
Pudge.
So I'm gonna allow you to put Dad in this if need be. So I'm just gonna say you're gonna give me the honest answer. Who is the greatest of all time Atlanta Braves player?
Man, greatest of all time Atlanta Braves player. Holy cow, I don't know why that was so hard for me to say right there. Yeah, if I don't say my dad, I might get in trouble. But I think you gotta go with Hank Aaron.
Yeah.
I think you gotta go with Hank Aaron. I mean, yeah.
What about in your time that you was able to see, being the dad played, you guys were able to go to the games that you've seen with your own eyes? Who's the greatest?
So he retired. Let's see. I was like 1 or 2 when he retired. So right. I was super young. So I don't remember watching him play, but I do remember. Sorry, are you still asking for an Atlanta Brave, or are you asking now just for a baseball player in general?
Give me some in general that you were able to.
So I remember when the All-Star game was in Atlanta in I think 2000 or 2001, and man, I met all those dudes down there, and it was awesome. Probably my favorite one to watch growing up was oh man, this is hard now too.
You got Chipper, Greg Maddux, Smokes, Glavine.
yeah, man. I like those pictures. That's what I always. I'm gonna go with Maddux, Greg Maddux. Yes. That's what I remember always watching him when I was younger. I always wanted to be a pitcher too, but I was never accurate. I'd always hit the batter, so they moved me to first base.
All right. So before we get up out of here, we want to give you the platform. We want to give you to give a shout out. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out? The platform is yours.
Man. No. Sorry, I don't mean no. I don't know why I said no. Just shout out. Probably my wife, man. She's the one that's she's probably bugged. I don't know where she went. She walked off with our son somewhere. So it might be time to
yeah. You gotta go find it now
and make sure I'm not in any trouble. But so maybe a shout out to her will make up for that. But yeah, she's been super supportive throughout this whole thing. I know that she doesn't love the fact that, you know, we don't know where we're going to be in a couple months. We don't know where we're going to be in a couple years. And it's so unpredictable, and you just never know. But, you know, she's been there the whole time, just super supportive. Me, when I was training, going through 2 days, coming to pro day and watching, I mean, obviously coming to all the games and watching the whole time I was at Weber State. So yeah, just super grateful for her, and yeah, that's it.
Yes, sir. Big shout out to the wife for that. Big shout out.
Yeah.
And hey, once again, we want to thank my man McKay Murphy from Weber State University, first team All Big Sky, and this is www.killthatnoise.com. I'm your boy, the Cameron McMath. My man Joe Son. We signing out.